developed and worked out and everything.
Can I have your attention, please?
And the come and go, I think, makes a ton of sense.
Around 1 o'clock, and Dean Akridge would like to share a few comments, and thank you all very much for coming today.
Yeah, thank you, Ailey, and let me just echo that, just say thank you for participating in this event. I'm going to talk a little bit about why I think it's important. I think the notice Ailey sent out said special address by Dean Akridge. Special in this case means short. Because I definitely don't want to interrupt all of the good conversations that are happening around the many different kinds of ways we engage with PK-12 students. But just a couple of points. I think a lot of you know, and since we're over here in PK-12 land, I got to have a handout or something to show as a demonstration. But this is our strategic plan, and one of the 6 themes in the plan is how we engage with PK-12. And there's 4 or 5 different elements of that. There's a piece of it that talks about laying down a plan for the college. There's a piece around teacher preparation. There's a piece around helping attract students to the agricultural life, natural resource sciences. There's a piece around helping students be better prepared to move into these kinds of areas. So this is something that's been part of our plan, and frankly it's an area we haven't moved as far along on as most of the rest of the plan. So I just want to say thank you to you for really getting to this point today, because I appreciate what Neil and Ailey and each of you has done with the PK-12 Council to start to get our arms around how we engage this very, very important group and how we move forward as a college. So I really, really appreciate your leadership in making that happen. I think I don't need to tell you folks why it's so important. I mean, you live and breathe this, and if it wasn't important to you, you wouldn't be here today. But, if you look at national statistics about attainment of our students in maybe the STEM areas compared to other countries, we're not maybe where we need to be. We can think about where our students are, maybe even gaps in attainment between, again, the majority and the minority, and thinking about how we close that gap going forward. Selfishly, we can think about, again, the need for individuals who have moved into the ag sciences broadly defined. And we heard this from Antonio Galindez yesterday. If you were at the Dow Agri-Sciences lecture, I don't know, nearly 1/3 of his company is 55 and over. I saw some stats last night. 20% of the STEM workforce in general is over 55. I'm getting a little sensitive to that because I'm knocking on that door. But the point is that this pipeline of students who have a passion for science is really important for us to build. If we think about it again, just from the ag workforce standpoint, Al Gerker's numbers would say 55,000 jobs annually, only 30,000 coming from colleges of agriculture. So again, these are gaps where this kind of outreach can make a difference. All of us, I think, have personal experience with the importance of connecting with students early in their careers, their educational careers, and we hear it constantly. We heard it from the Forestry and Natural Resource Review Committee. Marco and I were in an event, a review yesterday, and they talked about if we're going to help students move into that area, they need to start to understand what forestry science is about much earlier. And I was with food science not long ago. I always ask students, how did you get interested in food science? Well, she was in a chemistry class, and they had a unit on some element of food chemistry, and she got completely enamored with it, and the next thing you know, she's at Purdue majoring in food science. I mean, these kind of things are critical, if we're going to help students find, again, us as an area of focus. And a piece of that is outreach to teachers, because I think all of us know that helping get the ag sciences embedded into the classroom is really critical, because if a student doesn't learn anything about plants or maybe even vertebrates in the high school, they're not likely to find us here. And Rod, we got cool stuff, in the vertebrate areas, and plants are a little tougher. We're still working on that one to get folks excited about plant biology, but it's there. And so again, helping teachers connect with the science makes this kind of activity important. It's a big deal on campus. I think as Neil knows well, the campus is trying to think about, again, how we position Purdue to be a much better at preparing teachers and students in this whole STEM space. And I'm not ignoring social sciences. That's part of what we worry about too, and especially in rural communities. And I think there's a general sense that Purdue's got a role to play in that area in Indiana. And Neil's been actively involved in the Lilly Grant development that's going to be looking at that. We're part of a cluster hire in this whole PK-12 space, and that's something else that we're working on too. So again, there's a lot of things I think happening. Some of you maybe here because, again, your NSF NIH research has got an element of outreach and how we can do a better job of making access to these groups available for people who maybe PK-12 is not necessarily their focus, but they've got passion around science, and they don't have the linkages or relationships it takes to really bring that into the student environment of the classroom. So a lot of things I think that are important about this, and it's one of the reasons I'm really excited about this event. Just a couple of quick comments. I mean, looking forward, I hope this is something we can really build on, because this college has got an amazing array of ways we reach out to students, and you see so many of them here today, and I'm not going to tick them all off. And they're exciting, they're creative, I think they're impactful, and how do we make sure all of us in the college are aware of what we're doing, of the schools we're working with? How do we take more advantage of those relationships and assess impact and find out the things that are really working and the things that aren't, and really better even coordinate what we're trying to accomplish as a college? And I think this kind of event's a great way to kind of launch that, to just get a better sense for what we're doing. Because the thing I so appreciate about this group is just the infectious enthusiasm you have for this. And I've been around you when you're at Spring Fest or working with student groups, and when you've got that kind of passion for what you do, it's pretty obvious to those students. And there's something that happens there. We may not always be able to measure it, but something happens. And just again appreciate the enthusiasm you bring for this area. And really look forward to working with you, Neil, the council. Ailey, thanks so much for making this happen, as we look forward on how we even get better in this area. So again, congratulations on this first event, and thanks so much for being here.